Alrighty folks, it's Thursday night, and you know what that means? It's Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell. Hey, you got questions, we got some answers, and folks, tonight we're going to talk. Hey, listen, it's that time of year. Folks, it's season's in everywhere. In Alabama, it just came in North Florida, and it's in pre-rut down here, and we're going all the way almost into the peak of the rut up there in the Midwest. And tonight, folks, we're going to talk about that. And so listen, here's what we want you to do. As people are coming on watching this thing, we want you to get on the phone, call your friends, and tell them, hey, tune in. Go to the site, watch us live, tell all your friends. Tonight, we're going to talk, and we're going to talk about hunting the rut, folks. So stay tuned, and when we come back, we're going to kick this bad boy off, and we're going to talk about the peak of the rut, because we're going into it, all you guys up here in the Midwest, getting ready to go into it next week. So we're going to start talking about that and talk about some concrete things that you need to be doing up there in the Midwest, getting ready to do, because the peak of the rut's coming, even though we're just coming into the pre-rut here in South Alabama. Folks, stay tuned. We'll be back in just one moment, and we're going to have a great time tonight.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
Alrighty, folks, we're back live, and tonight we want you to just kind of kick back and relax, and periodically get on that phone, text, call somebody, let them know that this show's going on. This show's all about you, and it's always as relevant as the last question that somebody calls in. And what we want you to notice is we do this every week. People are coming on from all over the country. It is amazing. We do appreciate you calling in. We want you to continue to do that. And this show's for you. Tell them to text, get on there, Facebook us now. As we get started tonight, what we want to do is to talk about pre and peak rut. Peak of the rut is the time when the majority of the does are standing. You know, and if you notice, the title of this show is Hunting the Rut Hotline. And a lot of folks get this mixed up, is that they think the rut is when a buck's chasing a doe. Actually, in reality, that's the peak of the rut. The rut's broken into 3 periods. And we really try to drive this home week after week, because if most people think the rut is when a buck's chasing the doe, hey guys, you're missing 2/3 of the hunting season using rut tactics. So, but those of you in the Midwest, in fact, we'll be leaving next week, running up to Illinois up there with you guys, and historically, the peak of the rut in the Midwest is somewhere between, somewhere probably around November the 7th to about the 15th. So tonight, as we talk about this, you guys are getting ready to go into the peak of the rut up there. And down here in the deep south, hey, we're just now kicking this thing off. Season just broke. Archery season came in last Saturday. So we're just 4 or 5 days into the season, and you guys are getting ready to go into the peak of the rut. So it's real important to understand, as you hunt the rut, the peak of the rut, as you go into it, that old boy's neck starting to swell. He's already came along, he started up, you guys in the Midwest, he's already started making those secondary scrapes, those primary scrapes underneath that overhanging limb. He's already marking them. Those are the ones you want to hunt over. Those are the ones you want to position that stand near, and you want to be using that buck urine, and you want to be able to grunt, decoy, all of that in and around that primary scrape, or what we call a master bedroom. So folks, listen, the peak of the rut is when the majority of the does are standing and not running. All of you guys out there, you've heard this, ask this question. When I say the word rut, what's the first thing you picture a buck doing? And guys, if you ask your people at work tomorrow, your friends, that very question, the majority of them is going to tell you that when you say a buck chasing a doe, when they think about the peak of the rut, they're thinking a buck's chasing a doe. So folks, what happens is when he starts chasing the does, that is the peak. Okay, that is the beginning of the peak. The word peak means a doe will stand and not run. So pre, peak, and post rut. Folks, this tonight, as we talk about this stuff, we want you just to get on that phone, call us. All of you guys in the Midwest, get ready. The peak of the rut's coming. And I believe in just one moment, we're fixing to go to a caller. And as we go to this caller, I'm not exactly sure where this gentleman's from, but as he comes onto the phone, we're going to be talking about that. And let's see where these guys are calling in tonight, and let's see if they're in that beginning of the peak of the rut as we go into the Midwest there. So those in Alabama, Midwest, Southeast, all you guys, it is all about pre-rut down here, but as we go into the peak of the rut. Let's see back there, guys. We got anybody on the phone yet back there? Nope. All right. Let's tell you what to do while they're getting that caller on. Guys, this show is live, so you bear with us each night as we do this. We're going to take a quick email. In fact, it's regarding the peak of the rut. We have Scott out of Wisconsin, and Scott wants to know, his question is, does deer scent have preservatives in it? A lot of scent companies there, Scott, does have preservatives in the scent. Top Secret does not. We get asked a lot of times, will your urines, will it freeze? And the answer to that is yes. And the reason it freeze is because it's 100% natural. If they tell you it won't freeze, folks, there's a reason for it. They got something in it. Okay, let's see. I believe we've got somebody on the phone now, I believe, guys. Let's see who we got. All right, let's see here. Don Bell. Hello? Who we got?
Sir.
Yes, sir. Who we got on the phone?
Matthew Weaver.
Mr. Matthew, where you from?
I'm originally from Texas. I was stationed in Virginia for 9 years while I served in the Navy.
There you go. We appreciate that service. But you're originally from Texas?
Yes, sir.
Do you live in Texas now?
Yes, sir. I still live in Virginia.
What part of Virginia are you in?
I'm in Southeast Virginia, around the
Roanoke? Are you in and around Roanoke?
I'm about 2 hours from Roanoke.
Okay. All right. Well, look, man, we're glad to have you on the show tonight. What kind of question you got?
I got I'm fairly new to to hunting the rut, especially in Virginia. And I was wondering, since I'm fairly new of being a hard charger hunting, about what maybe the do's and the don'ts of hunting the rut.
Matthew, are you a bow hunter or are you a gun hunter?
Both, sir.
Okay, all right. Well, right off the get-go, what you want to do, or do you already have somewhere to hunt up there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, 10-4. Well, here's what you want to do. And you bow hunt, right? Well, right off the get-go, what you want to do is you want to do a couple of things. One is, and guys, we really hadn't spent a lot of time on the show talking about this, but I am assuming that everybody out there is listening that you're killing your human odor. Okay? A deer's got 3 defenses. Ears, Matthew, eyes, and nose. The most important being the nose. So you've got to kill that human odor. If you don't, he's going to nail you as you're coming in, especially when you're out there. A buck's sort of like an old gobbler. If you get out there and go to calling him, you're going to make that gobbler call shy ahead of season. Well, the same way, every time you're in the woods scouting, Matthew, for a buck, he's scouting you. In other words, you're in his house. So you want to be out there as much as possible, but no more than possible. So having said that, here's what you do. Your archery hunting, do you have a grunt call?
Yes, sir.
All right. What you want to do, have you found any rubs or scrapes?
Yeah, I'm eat up with rubs and scrapes.
Well, man, that's a good thing to be eat up with.
I know. I'm pumped about it. I am. I think what the thing is my private land backs up to some city land.
Yep.
And they have quota hunts every year. Well, if there's any of your Virginia hunters listening, they know that October 1st to November 30th, anything east of the Dismal Swamp, they have a general firearms season, right around, where the rest of us are trying to bow hunt. And
right.
It sounds like World War III going off back there.
How long is that hunt?
It's 60 days.
Okay, so it's a regular season. Well, a couple things is going to happen with that. I know it's going to probably sound pretty crazy, but sometimes when you got all that activity, a deer, what's going to happen? A deer is motivated by pressure. And there's a couple things. When you jump a deer, he's going to run just as fast as he can to get away from you, but at the same time, he's not going to run any further than he has to, and that's the reason why a lot of times you see a buck, you jump him, he'll run out there in a clear cut or up a ridge, and he'll stop and look back. And the reason for it is he's going, okay, I'm out of danger, am I far enough? Now, having said that, if you got pressure on that public land, which you do, and it's a consistent pressure, right?
Yes, sir.
You almost, and of course I don't know the topography of it, along your property, how long a distance is it joining the two properties?
Oh, probably 200, 250 yards maybe.
Okay, is it flat? I mean, is it hardwood? Is it a bottom?
It's hardwoods with a creek bottom running right on the back side of the property.
Well, these people that's hunting this other property, are they gun hunting near you? I mean, are they on the line?
They're not. No, sir. They're not on top of me, but you can definitely tell that it's. You can tell they're within a few hundred yards of me.
Well, the reason I say that is, guys, and everybody listening knows this, that sometimes pressure is always a bad thing, but you can sometimes use it to your advantage. Because if you got all this activity going over there, those deer are either going to hunker down or they're going to move away from it. Well, if they move away from it, guess where they're going to move to? They're going to move toward, they're going to move. That's right, they're going to move toward you, and that's the reason I asked, especially if it's a creek bottom. Is your property thick?
Yes, sir.
Well, oh man, I'd get in there on that creek bottom in there, and but what you want to do, you want to hunt those rubs and scrapes, but pay attention to that, because them bucks, that pressure is going to put them back toward you, or it's certainly going to disperse them away from all that shooting and stuff. That's the reason a lot of times people say, the best time to hunt is between 10 and 2. And what they're saying is that a deer will pattern, everybody gets up and they go hunting, they hunt from daylight to 10, come in, get them some breakfast, take a nap, get up and go hunting at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, deer know that people are in the woods early and they're in the woods late, so those deer, especially the smart ones, understands the pressure, so they'll try to move up when there's less pressure in the property. So, just pay attention to that pressure, but you can use it to your advantage. But having said that, you said you were eat up with rubs and scrapes?
Yes, sir.
Can you tell already up there that you have any rubs with overhanging limb? In other words,
most of the little thicket part down in a creek bottom where I hunt, it's all young pines and young white oaks. So the branches really, they kind of start on some of those trees where the rubs and scrapes and stuff are. They're only about 4.5 feet off the ground. Yeah, well,
what I mean by that is, you got that rub line in there, Matthew, or can you tell that the bucks are already marking those scrapes good? In other words, and all you got to do with that, guys, is listen, all you got to do is just stick your head downwind from a scrape. You can visually look and tell if a buck's marking a scrape. Now, if you're not sure, really all you got to do, Matthew, is just stick your head downwind and smell, and you'll smell that buck urine. Now, if you're not 100% sure, get you a limb, kick you some leaves in it. Literally cover it up. By any chance, do you bass fish?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, you know that if you throw something in a bass's bed, what's he going to do? What's that bass going to do? He'll get it and take it out.
Move it.
That's right. Well, a buck's the same way. So if you want to, he's going to keep that bedroom clean. If he's marking it, he's checking it. And if he's marking it and checking it, he's going to keep it clean. So what you want to do, if you're not sure, get you a limb, throw you some leaves in it. Don't worry about covering it up. He don't know you threw them in there. He just knows that the bedroom's all messed up. So he'll come in there and clean it out. You know you got a buck working the scrape. But if you've got one working it, by all means, put you some buck urine in it and get up and grunt. And you'll have a big time this year. Now, you guys aren't far off up there coming into the peak of the rut. So everybody listening, get you some buck urine. Use buck urine every day. Matthew, you need to be doing that now in grunting. And then once he starts chasing those does, Matthew, add you some estrus to it. I don't mean put it together, literally pour them together. You want to put them in the scrape together, but not on top of one another. Does that make sense?
Perfectly sense.
Hey, listen, you're not in a bad situation up here. If you eat up with scrapes and rubs, that means, that's not rabbits doing that or coons doing it or squirrels doing it. You got some bucks doing that. And see, when did season come in for them hunting up there with a gun?
October 1st.
Really? So they've been pounding away for a month.
Yes, sir. Every day at dawn and dusk.
Yep. Well, hey, listen, there you are. Then I'd get in there and hunt that up middle of the day then if they're doing that kind of pressure on it. But hunt those rubs and scrapes. That didn't happen by itself. And let me tell you something, Matthew, and everybody else. You can shoot an old buck off of one of them scrapes. Don't leave it, because what's going to happen, the next most dominant buck's going to come in and take over that property. You heard the old saying in real estate, location, location. Well, it's the same way with a buck. The only reason that next bigger buck's not working that scrape, because that other buck could kick his butt. So he don't want to be fooled with, so he stays back. When you take him off of the property, the next one's going to come in. So you hunt them rubs and scrapes this year, hunt them every year, because historically they'll more than likely be in them same places all the time. Does that make some sense?
Yes, sir. It makes perfect sense.
Man, listen, we appreciate you calling in. And how did you find out about the show?
I follow you on Facebook.
Well, man, we appreciate that, Matthew. And tell everybody about it and get you some Top Secret. The show's sponsored by Top Secret's 1/10 of 1% Club. And that's the best of the best. That's this bottle here, the big bottle. And there's about 12,000 bottles of that for 12 million deer hunters. That's the reason we call it the 1/10 of 1% Club. Listen, send us a picture, kill us a buck, and call us back and let us know if this works, and let us know how that pressure is up there. Sometimes it's best not to run from it, but kind of get up there close to it and let them run them to you.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Hey, listen, we appreciate you calling in, Matthew, and call us back sometime. Tell your friends about the show.
Yes, sir, will do.
All right, Matthew, thank you, sir, for calling in.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, we're fixing to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to someone else about hunting the rut. It's Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We're talking, so let's talk together. Be back in just one moment.
Rise and shine. It's time to hunt.
All righty, folks, we're back. And listen, guys, we want to tell you something. Let me apologize on a couple things here. Boy, these Facebook questions come in, and we know sometimes it seems like we're behind getting to these things, but man, we do our best, and sometimes we'll try to do a lightning round and try to get as many of these Facebook questions in as possible, and also work all these callers in. So we're going to take a couple of quick Facebook questions. Jason, who by the way is a club member, he wants to know, does a nursing doe affect bucks in the same area? And the answer to that is, as a general rule, no. I mean, you're going to have that. Bucks are more concerned with other bucks in a 12-month period, Jason. From January to December, bucks are more concerned with other bucks. Take a wild guess when that old boy is more concerned with a doe. That's right. When that old doe's standing, or she's starting to come in, or she's standing, he's more concerned with the doe then. But outside of that, no, a nursing doe is not going to affect a buck. But a nursing doe will affect little young bucks, in that when those bucks starts like coming into the pre-rut, sometimes you'll see a mature doe rear back and almost like, well, she's weaning the old boy. And man, I mean, she's absolutely brutal with it. She'll knock him upside the head and make him go and get out of the way. And so sometimes in that sense, yes, but as far as a general rule, no. I mean, it's not going to affect your hunting any. Just to the little young bucks, which is just part of life, man. She's teaching him the pecking order of what it means to grow up and get out, get a job, get out on his own in life. Let's take another quick question. We have Bill, who, by the way, is another club member, and Bill wants to know, how does the weather affect mock scrapes and real scrapes, and do I need to freshen up the deer bladder or dripper? A couple of things. As a general rule, a buck, now think about it, a buck marks a scrape. He doesn't mark it once. He keeps coming back and checking it and freshening it up. Now, I don't know if just because it rains and that old buck's thinking, well, wait a minute, it's rained, it's weakened my scent, I'm going to go back and freshen it up. But as a general rule, all hunters know a buck likes deer, not just a buck, but deer like to move ahead of a front. And so what happens sometimes, that could do it, to get the deer up to check it and move and do it. But I don't know so much that if just because it rains, he's thinking, well, hey, it's raining, I need to go freshen my scrape up. But if you're using the deer bladder, Top Secret's deer bladder, you know, guys, that's this thing right here. The deer bladder, when you hang that up, this drips only while you're there. And folks, that's phenomenally important, because if you're dripping urine while you're not there, it's ammoniating, and it's telling another buck that there was a doe there, but she's not there now. She was there earlier. When you hang the deer bladder up and it drips, you can adjust this little wheel right here. You can make it go as slow or as fast as you want to. It can drip once every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes, once an hour. But every time it drips, it says there's a doe there right now. In other words, that urine, that last drip, hit the scent, hit oxygen for the first time, and it says there's a doe there right this minute. So, Bill, you'll be able to do that. Use the bladder, but as a general rule, don't know that whether rain, they're thinking, hey, I need to go check it, freshen up the scrape. But they will move before and on the tail end of a front. All righty, here, let's see what else we got here. We'll take us another quick club question here. Another guy, another club member, Don. Don wants to know, how effective is a decoy? Well, guys, it's pretty effective, Don. You know, if you live in a state where you can decoy a deer, it is well worth your money to get you one. A deer has three defenses. He's got his ears, he's got his eyes, and he's got his nose. And when you put that decoy out there, you're giving that old buck that extra advantage to be able to come in. In other words, you grunt him in, you come in and you grunt that old boy like this. When you grunt him like that, he's going to go downwind. So, Don, what happens is you put that decoy out there, he goes downwind, he smells it, he cups them ears back, and he comes in, he's mad. He's smelling Old Spice cologne, he's smelling another buck. Sometimes that old boy will want to hang up and lock up. But if he can see what he just heard and what he smells, them old eyes may bring him that extra distance in. And sometimes, folks, it's just the funniest thing in the world. Get you a buck decoy and put you some estrus on it. And folks, get your camera, because eventually that nose is going to outride that eyes and those ears. It's a funny sight. But yes, absolutely, a decoy is effective, and if it's legal where you are, you want to get you one and you want to hunt it. Be careful going in and out, though, to make sure, you know, take those horns off that decoy going in. You don't want somebody to shoot you thinking you're a buck. I believe we're fixing to go to a caller, and let's see who we got here, guys. We got a caller online? I believe we do. All righty. Don Bell. Yes, sir. Who we got? Yes, sir. Who we got?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good.
Mike?
Mike, where you from?
Pennsylvania.
PA. What county you in?
Oh, Montour.
Montour. Central or Eastern?
Central.
Central. Up above Pittsburgh?
No, probably an hour from State College.
Okay.
Eastern State College.
All right, I got you. You know, what you need up there in Pennsylvania is another hunter, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, listen, it's the only place in America that when you hunt the opening day of gun season, it looks like a pumpkin patch, don't it?
Absolutely.
I mean, people just don't. If you ain't never hunted Pennsylvania on the opening day of gun season, you ain't lived. Ain't that right? It's Mike. It is an absolute hoot, buddy, because there ain't nothing but orange hats everywhere, just as far as the eye can see. Big Mike, what kind of question you got tonight?
Well, I use the aerosol type scent,
Yep.
and I was wondering if that was an effective way to use it, or are you just polluting the whole woods with the scent?
When you say polluting, or you mean that you might have too much scent out there, or are you talking about because it's put in an aerosol can?
Too much scent.
No, you're not going to have too much scent. You might be more in danger of it coming out of an aerosol can because of the propellants inside of it to be able to get it out. But as far as, you know, Top Secret, we have Top Secret's 3-ounce bottles, 3 ounces. A deer's going to urinate more than 3 ounces at a time, so you could literally pour the whole bottle out and you're not going to hurt yourself. You just don't want to do it because it's $14.95 a bottle. But as a general rule, Mike, here's the way you do it. People ask me all the time, well, how much scent is too much or how much is enough? And in a way, that's kind of what you're asking me. Rule of thumb, if you can smell it good, that old boy can smell it great. Does that make sense? And so if you put it out and you smell it good, that old buck can smell it great. But here's the deal. The hotter the weather, the more scent that you have to use. The colder the weather, in other words, if I poured urine out today, tomorrow morning here in North Florida or South Alabama, and you poured it out the same time in Pennsylvania, world of difference in how long it's going to last. How cold is it up there right now tonight?
It's high 50s, low 60s during the
Well,
day.
I mean, you're pretty warm up there tonight, but, you know, we're down here, we're in probably the mid-70s out there right now. You know, and during the day, it's going to be up in the 80s. So, as a rule of thumb, the hotter it is, the quicker urine's going to ammoninate on you, and the colder it is, the longer it's going to last. But back to your original question, if you just sit there and just sprayed it, you know, I mean, are you talking about just like forever spraying the can out, or are you just like putting you some blast out?
I put a couple blasts out.
Yeah, no,
when I first get there.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
And a few puffs every now and then.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Now, as far as just doing it up in the wind, I'd come better to put it. Now, you're up. Are you bow hunting?
Yeah.
All right. Are you in a stand or on the ground?
I'm in the stand.
Okay. The reason I said that is where I would do it is put it out on, you know, first of all, deer urinate on the ground. And I know that sounds the obvious, but a lot of hunters, and you probably know some, we all do, is we want to put that scent high up on a tree. And the reason we think that the further we put it up, the higher in the wind it's going to go. But Mike, what happens is you're making that deer look up at you. So, you know, I always put urine on the ground and or no higher than waist high anyway, because if you put it more than waist high, you're going to run into a potential problem making that old buck look at you. And he's hard enough to kill it as it is, let alone making him look up in a tree at you. But you know, as a general rule, no, you're not going to hurt it. The only thing I could say about aerosol scent is just that it's aerosol. They had to put it in there some way or another. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yep. Now, and I'm not saying it's not effective. What I'm saying is it's just a different way of dispersing it. But let's give you an example. Are you familiar with Top Secret?
Yeah.
Okay, well, and it's not a complicated thing. Top Secret, we collect it without oxygen. So what happens is this bottle that I'm holding up right here, I don't know if you can see that or not, or everybody at home, you'll be able to see it. this bottle's, the urine's yellow. The reason it's yellow is because it hasn't seen oxygen. You know, if you were to take that aerosol, and you ought to do this, I tell you what you do, Mike. I want you to do you have any left in that aerosol can? I tell you what I want you to do. I'll pay for it. I want you to take it, what you got left, get you a clear jar, and I want you to spray it in it till it's liquid in the bottom. And then I want you to call me back next week if you want to, and I'll put you back on the air, and you tell me what color it is. You know what color it's going to be?
It's going to be brown.
It's going to be brown. You know why it's going to be brown? Because they started off with ammoniated urine, a blend of ammoniated urine. Dark urine says a deer was there. Clear yellow urine says a deer is there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it really does. If you were to take this off right here, this bottle that I've got, and everybody can see it, I'm holding up a bottle of estrus. It's yellow. If I were to just take the cap and I was to open it, sit here and talk to you for a few seconds, close it back up, and tomorrow afternoon, it will already start turning brown. And Mike, the reason for that is I put oxygen to it. And so as it turns brown, it's telling the deer how long it's been since the deer's been there. You know, and Mike, have you ever watched the show before?
Yeah. I've been watching it.
You remember me telling you about going outside and urinating in a jar?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, try that. I'm serious. It's what a deer. When urine is voided, Mike, it's sterile. So when you spray what you're spraying out of your own emittance, which is just because it's a blend of aged urine, it's brown, which means when you spray it, it's already saying there was a deer there, not that there's a deer there now. And that's the difference between scent, and it's a major difference. And that's the reason Top Secret is just absolutely changing the scent industry. It's because it's not complicated. It's no oxygen. So, but to your question is, now you could pour that whole 3-ounce bottle out, and you're not going to put too much scent out. But where I really do use a lot of scent, Mike, and that's when I've got a primary scrape, and I've got a buck that's tearing it up that's nocturnal. Now, I've been known to put the whole bottle in that scrape. But at that point, I know I got a good old boy. You know what I mean? And so I don't want to, I'm not scared to put a little bit of buck urine in there because I know he's nocturnal. He don't want to come in there, and I'm trying my best to get his butt in there. And so at that point, I'm not going to spare any. I'm going to fill his nose up. I'm going to give him all of the old spice I can put in there for him to try to make him come in there mad. So, but yeah, try it. Let us know how that works. And did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
All right. Well, listen, we appreciate you calling in. And listen, we appreciate you watching. And Mike, tell everybody about the show. Man, there's 1 million hunters up there, literally. Actually, about 1.1 million up there in Pennsylvania. And I know you must think they all hunt on your property, don't you? So, but tell everybody about the show. This doggone thing is growing every week. And we thought it would. It is. And the reason it's growing is because of people like you that like to hunt and talk about it. Because look, Mike, what you just asked tonight, I guarantee you there's hunters out there that's asked the same question and thought, you know, doggone it, I wonder how much if I could use too much or not. So by you calling in, it helps other hunters. Hey, we appreciate you calling in.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Mike, thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it. Come back and call us again.
All right.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. Talk to you next time. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah.
You bet. Bye-bye. Guys, we appreciate you calling in. We're fixing to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to do this thing all over again. Be back in just one moment.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 1/10% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 1/10% Club.
All right, folks, we're back, and look, we want to take just a moment and thank Top Secret Deer Scent. They're our sponsor for this show. In fact, they're our only sponsor, and we appreciate it greatly. And listen, want to remind everybody out there, if you notice as we go through some of these Facebooks and some of the callers that are calling in are club members. And the way you become a 1/10 of 1% club member, folks, that club is fastly becoming one of the most aggressive and one of the highest sought after clubs in the country. And the reason for it is because of this bottle. We have 12,000 bottles of reserve. What's in this bottle is a 3-4-year-old doe. Never seen oxygen. We literally pulled the old boy off of the doe. If you want to be a club member like these other club members and you want to participate in new product development and you want to be part of the team, and if you want to be able to be part of the big buck contest that we run every month during hunting season, we're running one in fact, tomorrow we'll end October's big buck contest. We'll kick it off all over again. Ensure that you get yours. You can go down to below me there. You'll see a little button. Those of you that are going down the road and watching this on your cell phone, you can scroll up and you'll see that little button that says 1/10 of 1%. Hit that button. It'll take you to the it'll take you to the website, and you can order your reserve for it to be shipped today. Or you can go ahead and, believe it or not, and we got people doing this already, you can book your reserve for 2015. You can hit the 4 payment. It'll pay for the bottle over 4 payments. You say, hey, I want mine sent next October or November or December, and you secure your bottle for 2015. All right, folks, I think we got us a caller on the line. Is that right, guys? We got a caller? All righty, let's see who we got here. Don Bell, who we got? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. My name is Bo DeHaas, and I'm calling from Ohio.
Bodine. But what part of Ohio are you from?
I'm in Holmes County.
Holmes County. Are you south of Columbus?
I'm actually north of Columbus, about an hour and a half.
All righty. Yes, sir. You ever get down there and hunt in Hockin County, just south of Columbus?
No, I haven't. We got just 200 acres there in Holmes County, and it seems to be working out pretty well for us.
There you are. Listen, I want to tell you something. If you got ground anywhere in Ohio, it ought to be working out good for you. That's some fine hunting up there in Ohio. Are you from there?
Underrated state.
Hey, listen. Anybody knows hunting knows you got them in Ohio. Are you from there?
I'm actually from North Carolina, but I lived there for 2 years and grew up on the farm there. But I go up there probably every other week, for work.
There you are. All right.
Well,
I guarantee you. Well, what kind of question you got for us tonight?
I was wondering, up there in Ohio right now, things are really starting to pick up as far as chasing, and just bucks cruising a little bit.
Yep.
Is it better to set up as far as between bedding areas where the deer stage, or is it better to set up on actual food plots where the does will be?
Well, all right, 2 things. One is you're exactly right, and we started this show off by talking about Peak of the Rut because in the Midwest, of which you're part of, it's starting to crank up. And historically, November the 7th through the 15th, the Peak of the Rut's on up there where you guys are. So you're kind of getting into that chasing stage and excitement stage. And what's happening, some of those does are starting to come in, and those old boys are getting nervous, and they're starting to run a little bit. But keep in mind, the Peak of the Rut is when the majority of the does are standing and not running. And the peak where you are, historically the 7th to about the 15th. How close is that up there? Is that about right?
Well, I saw a little bit. I was up there this past week, and I noticed a little bit of small bucks chasing.
Yep.
But on camera, I got a lot of big bucks chasing as well, and they're hitting scrapes pretty hard, and a lot of them during daylight.
Yep. Yeah, and as that activity starts to build, and those does really start going off of one scrape over into the other, and keep in mind, and I'm bad on analogies, and I apologize for that, but, a scrape is sort of like a master bedroom, a primary scrape. So if you got a master bedroom in my house, and you live next door and you got a master bedroom, and what happens is that doe, if she starts to come in and gets nervous, and the reason she's running is because she's coming in and she didn't want to be fooled with, right? That's the whole reason she's running. Well, she's running away from me, and next thing she knows, I know she's over in your house. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I'm not going to stop at the fence line. I'm going to come on in your bedroom. And things starts getting ugly. And so starts getting confusing, and it heats up. So, but yeah, man, it's on up there where you are. Now, your specific question on that would be between bedding and food plots. Couple quick things. Did you say bedding or food sources and food plots?
Well, just food plots, and then like bedding, just cover areas.
Yeah. Well, a doe, you know, she's gonna go between bedding and feeding. Now, having said that, once they, sort of like a covey of quail, once the does in the peak of the rut, those does that are coming in, those that didn't get bred is coming back in, so you just kind of got a state of chaos going on, but the bucks are going to go where the does are. Having said that, yes, between bedding and feeding. But now if you're hunting a food plot, is it a planted plot or is it just a field that you're hunting?
It's a planted food plot.
All right, here's what I do with that. You bow hunt, you say, or gun hunt?
I just bow hunt.
Okay, here's what I do with that. A lot of times, the first thing you see coming in that green field every afternoon is what? Does. The second thing you see coming in that green field in the afternoon is what? Little young bucks.
Probably a small buck.
That's right. If you're lucky, right at dark, what you gonna see?
A big boy.
That's right. You know why? Because that big boy, what he did is he staged darkness to your field. So wherever your stand is, I'm assuming you've got your stand where you think he's coming into the field, correct?
Correct.
All right. What I do is I take that stand, and this is hard to do. Man, it's hard to get people to get off that field and get off that food source. But if you get off that field about 100 yards, or even better, depends on the terrain, get off that field about 100 yards, let them does come past you, let them little young bucks come past you. That big buck, he's staging darkness to the field. So if you get off of that field, he will come past you before it's too dark to shoot. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
Now, it's hard for people to get off that green field because you planted it, and you know what we're looking for is activity. A lot of hunters want to see activity. They want to see the does, they want to see the little young bucks. But if you're wanting to kill a good buck, and you wanting to kill the one that stages to darkness, I'd get off that field about 100 yards, let them little does come by, let them little young bucks, and little teenagers go out there and play with them in the green field, and you get you a shot at that old boy coming in there trying to time darkness to the field.
Yep, and it's funny you say that because we had a stand there like that last year, and we had a big old about 170-inch 10-pointer that right at dark, he would just cruise that wood line probably about 50, 60 yards in, and he would never go out into the field.
Yep. I mean, you know, they don't get old and big for, you know, being stupid, but boy, listen, once you get into that, you get off of that field back there, it's pretty exciting because what happens is you know you're off of that field, and it's you and him at that point. You start letting them little bucks go past you, and you got to do that. You got to let them go past you, and then that old boy will come in there he'll pass you, staging darkness to that field. You'll get you a shot this year, and get you some buck urine, get you some estrus, and I'd trail both of those in there.
Hey, I'm already loaded down. I got your reserve, and I got your reserve phone.
Well, big boy, we appreciate you being a club member, and
well, hey, I appreciate it. You got a great product. I got to order another thing of buck urine because I already used the other bit.
all right, well, send us some pictures, and now look, as a club member, you know, did you get estrus or buck, the reserve?
I got estrus.
Yeah, because see, guys, what he's talking about, he's got the estrus in the big bottle, but we also have what we call breeding buck, which is the bucks that we pulled off these does. But now those, we only started off with about 1,100 bottles. In fact, what we're talking about doing now for 15 is because we know that we don't have anywhere near the buck that we do with the doe, the estrus, we're looking at allowing that buck to be for club members because it's first come, first serve on that breeding buck, just simply because we only had 1,100 bottles. But look here.
Let me ask you, Don.
Yes, sir.
What's the perks of using the breeding buck urine opposed to just dominant buck urine?
Listen, what you have with that buck urine there, and it is that it's, you know, two things. One of is with the reserve, not only do you know it's estrus, and it's no wondering if it'll work because we pulled the old boy off of her. This just happens to be the old boy we pulled off of her, so he is in full mode. Now, it doesn't matter if it's a dominant buck or not, and that shocks a lot of people. But look, how old are you?
I'm 24.
You 20? You by any chance you married?
Yes, sir, I am.
Alrighty, so we go home tonight, and you smell Old Spice cologne. You flip that light on. You much care if you find Pee Wee Herman or Superman?
Say that one more time.
I said, would it break your heart if you found Pee Wee Herman or Superman? In other words, you come in, it doesn't matter if it's a teenager or if it's a grown man in your bedroom, does it?
No, I'm going to be pretty pissed either way.
That's my point. And so that's what happens. So it doesn't matter if it's a dominant buck or not. It doesn't matter the age. It matters where and when. And the where and when is the important part. And so what you have here is the actual bucks we pulled off of these does. And but man, send us some photographs. Tell everybody about it.
I will. I already share your product all the time on my wall, getting these boys that I hunt with to get on the train.
There you go, baby. We appreciate it. And hey, appreciate you being a club member. Guys, you're out there. Join it. It's first come, first serve. And look, tell everybody about the show and call back in.
All righty, I will. Thank you, Don.
Hey, you bet. Hey, listen, send us some photographs too, okay?
Oh, I will.
All righty, man. We appreciate it. Thank you.
All righty, we'll see you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you, sir. Bye-bye. All righty, guys. Let's see here. Do we have another call back there, guys? Do I think we got a call? Okay, here we go. But it's a live show, folks. We're doing it as you see it. Don Bell, who we got?
Ross from Hot Springs.
Ross from Hot Springs. As in Hot Springs where?
Arkansas.
That's what I thought you were going to tell me, Arkansas. Are you born and reared up there?
Yeah, born and raised.
All right,
here in Hot Springs.
Hey, you bow hunt or gun hunt?
I do both, but I prefer to bow hunt.
Well, I heard that. What kind of question you got for us tonight?
Well, I've read a couple articles about those going into estrus early because of their birthday. Like if they were born, says that 2 to 3 does in all America, or 2 to 3% of all does in America go into estrus early. Is this true, or is it just gossip?
Well, I mean, we'll follow the common sense rule. A mature doe, an older doe is going to come in because she's an older doe. So, it's just older versus younger. But the key to it is Clay, is that you never have all the does in at the same time. And boy, doing this nearly 29, 30 years doing this, and we preach it on this show, is, and I don't know if you listened to the first part of the show, but we were talking about, just like the caller before, up in Ohio, the peak of the rut's starting to kick in up there. He's already got bucks chasing does. With those does that's being chased right now up there in Ohio, they're not in, they're coming in. And the reason they're running is because they're coming in. The reason they're running is they're coming in and they don't want to be fooled with. That's the reason they're running. The peak of the rut is when the majority of the does are standing. And look here, there is a time, Clay, where you hunt in Arkansas on your piece of property. There is a time in which the majority of the does are standing versus running. And that's the peak of the rut. In Arkansas, where you hunt, when do you traditionally start seeing bucks chase does?
I'm going to say
Thanksgiving time.
Yep. And now if you noticed, the other couple of callers here, Virginia, Ohio, these bucks are already starting to run does. And the reason for that, the peak of the rut in the extreme north, like that in the Midwest, is very, very pronounced. It's in about a 7 to 10 day window, boom, it hits and it's over with. The further south you come, the peak of the rut is kind of more elongated. You know what I'm talking about? Like where
Yes, sir. I still got bucks and bachelor groups here.
Exactly, bingo, that's what I'm talking about. See, and look, Clay, we just opened season, for heaven's sakes, last Saturday here in North Florida and Alabama.
Oh, really?
Yeah, archer season just opened last Saturday. So yeah, we still got bucks and bachelor groups. So the peak of the rut, not the rut, because the rut's the entire hunting season. Once a buck sheds velvet, he's in rut. Now, I didn't say she's in estrus, I said he's in rut. He can biologically breed. A buck can breed from the time he sheds velvet to the time he drops his horns or his antlers. And that means in Arkansas where you live, when season came in, the majority of the bucks were already out of velvet, weren't they?
Yes, sir.
That's right, so they were in rut. What's the last legal day you can hunt Arkansas?
February 28th.
They still got horns?
No, sir.
They don't? February the 28th?
Yes, sir. That's the end of bow season.
Do you skip a period in your season?
No, I don't skip any period. I hunt.
No. Yeah. I bet you do, baby. I'm talking about, does your season break? In other words, archery season comes in, you go a piece, or once season opens, you go all the way to February?
Once season opens, archery season opens September 28th, and it ends February 28th. And there's no break in archery season.
Dog, baby. You like Florida. You got it going on up there, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Well, look, when do you start seeing the bucks start dropping their antlers there? Late?
Around the end of January.
Yeah, late January, okay. Well, a buck's in rut from the time he sheds velvet to the time he drops his antlers, okay? So, and the peak of the rut is when the majority of those are standing versus running. And so, hang in there with them, dog. You got plenty of time to hunt.
Yes, sir.
Have you already been hunting?
Yes, sir.
You got you anything yet?
I got a doe and a buck so far, a little basket case buck.
Well, what's your limit there?
In my zone, it's 4 deer, 2 legal buck or two doe, and in the state limit is 2 legal buck or 4 doe.
Okay. All right. Well, man, I want you to hang in there. Listen, Clay, tell everybody up there in Arkansas about the show. How'd you find out about the show?
Well, I was looking at it on Facebook, and I seen one day, and because I used to deal with cold blue scents a lot, and I seen where you moved over there or started your own, and I read the article and all that good stuff, and I've been following you on Facebook, and every now and then I'll catch a glimpse of the show.
Well, good. Well, listen, Clay, you can, and all those that are watching, and Clay, remind everybody of this, when this show ends tonight, though it's live, and you can kind of see, man, we're talking to the guys back there. Sometimes they watch me, sometimes they don't. But as we're doing this, we're live. But as soon as we get through tomorrow morning, it uploads back to a Ustream, and then you can watch it all during the week. In other words, when we get through tomorrow morning, you can watch this show, and you ought to do it, hear your questions, and then, or you can go over to the right side of the screen and watch last week's show, 2 weeks ago, last month's show. So it's a pretty neat deal that kind of archives it, and you can go, now what were they talking about during pre-rut? And you can go back there and watch and listen to those questions. So, man, we're glad to have you on. And have you got you any top secret scent?
No, I haven't.
Man, to get you some oxygen free, guys. That's a cat's meow right there, baby. Yellow urine and never seen oxygen. So, but you can check it out on the website. You can go to topsecretdeerscent.com, or you can go to your local store and retailer there, or Dick's store, and find it. So, Well, look, I hope we answered your question, and appreciate you calling in, and tell all your friends about it, Clay.
Yes, sir, I will.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for calling.
You too.
Okay, thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You bet. Bye-bye. All right, guys, we got them calling in from everywhere. Now, I didn't realize that Arkansas, you could go all the way to February. That's a pretty good deal right there, guys. Of course, you know, we live down here in South Alabama, and we just got to extend ours to the end of February. Of course, in Florida, they've been doing that for quite a while, but it seems like it's a catching on thing. So you guys up in the Midwest, hang tight. It might come your way. We're going to take a couple quick Facebook questions here real quick. And let's see here. We've got Joey, and he's from Weatherford, Cedar Grove, Tennessee. How should a tractor scent be used during the rut? A drag line, a scent wick, and he talks about that he uses a ground blind. What do you recommend? Well, first of all, Joey, guys, you can put scent, you can trail it in on a drag line, that's perfectly fine. If you put it on a scent wick, perfectly fine. But here's the deal. Once you put urine on a drag, let's say this is a drag, and Joey, I put scent here, and I trail it across the road and up the hill over there. When I get over there, which way is the scent the strongest or the freshest? It's back the way I just come from. So what happens is I'm a buck, and I come in and I cross this scent. What I'll do is I'll turn and go to your truck and drink your coffee, and you're up in the tree over there freezing your butt off. And what happens with that is because the scent is stronger here. If you use Joey foam, you can use foam. Top Secret has it in foam. It's like $19.95 for 8 ounces. It's 300 pumps in this old boy. And so what you literally can do here, you can take this and you can foam it. The first time it sees oxygen, guys, is when you foam it. So every time you foam it, it's the first time it sees oxygen. So it's a pretty neat deal. And that means that if you start here and you foam it, then what you literally can do is you can walk through the woods and foam estrus, buck, estrus, buck, estrus, buck. And literally what you do there, Joey, you're creating a buck chasing a doe. Hey, and that's what you say when you use a grunt call. That's what you're telling that old boy, is that a buck's chasing a doe, and you can do it with Top Secret's foam, and it has 300 applications in it. So ground blind, tree stand, Joe, it makes no difference. If you're going to use a scent wick, use it this morning, take the cotton out, and put fresh urine on it. Because if you don't, the urine you put on there this morning is already ammoniated, which tells the old boy that you were there and you're not there now. So let's see what we got. Guys, we got another caller? All right. Let's go to another quick email here. Voicemail. Voicemail. Facebook. We got them all kind of ways here. Alton, and he is from Hendersonville, North Carolina. Alton wants to know, when is the best time to catch the big bucks on their feet during chasing and seeking or during the peak of breeding? Well, all of that is kind of the same question, because Alton, what happens is when you're seeing these bucks on their feet and they're running, they're chasing, they're seeking, that is the beginning of the peak of the rut. And so what happens is in the peak, I'm talking about the peak being when the majority of the does are standing. But there's always that confusion around those does standing. What we see as hunters more times than not. In fact, guys, you know, call us in, Facebook us, tell us how many that you've actually saw a buck breed a doe. And what happens with that, you'll find out that that's not a whole lot. If you take 12 million deer hunters, it's going to be a very small percent that actually seen old boy breed the doe. But what they see a lot of is the activity and the frustration of that old boy chasing that doe. So the chasing and the seeking during the peak of the rut, just prior to the peak of the rut, it's kind of all part of the same program. But during the peak, that's when the majority of them are standing. Let's take us another quick Facebook here. Justin from Horton, Michigan. And folks, notice these guys are asking questions from all over the country. Is the morning hunt better during the rut or in the evening? Historically, and guys, listen, answer this question to yourself. The true hunter, the old boy that's really serious with it, I mean, he's dead serious, he's gonna get him a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, he's gonna climb up in daylight, and he's gonna stay there to dark. He's gonna be there the whole duration. But a lot of hunters, what'll happen, they'll get up, they'll go get in the stand before daylight, they'll hunt to about 9, 10 o'clock, come down, go get them something to eat, take a nap, and get up and go hunting again in the afternoon. And so they're going early morning, late evening. And deer will start patterning you doing that. But during the rut, and I'm assuming, Justin, you're talking about during the peak of the rut, because during the peak of the rut, them old does, the peak of them, they're standing. But when they're running everywhere, it don't make much difference if it's daylight, middle of the day. Once he's on a doe, he's going to run that doe. He don't care what time of day it is, whether it's pitch dark, midnight, 2 o'clock in the morning, daylight. It doesn't matter. If she's coming in, he's going to run her. And so what you want to be is be in those right places to be able to get a shot at that old boy. And it make a difference, guys. But morning and evening really doesn't make any difference. Once they start running, them old boys are running. Let's see where we are right here. All right, guys, let's take one more real quick. We got Dominic, and he is from Levittown, Pennsylvania. And what he's got, he's asking, during the rut, I've heard that mature bucks will not follow a main deer trail, but rather will follow it 20 yards off or away from it, just on the same path. Is this true? I don't know that I've ever heard that, to tell you the truth, Dominic. Typically a buck's gonna, especially a buck's gonna work he's gonna work a trail, he's gonna travel a trail till pressure makes him do something else. But white-tailed deer, period, are very, very habitual. In other words, they're going to do the same thing every time till pressure makes them do something else, especially a buck. But once you spook a buck and he gets off of that pressure, he's going to try to get back into another routine. So, but during the rut, if he's following a doe, he's off the trail, he's on the trail. But that doesn't always mean they're walking exactly down the same rutted trail. You know, if you're bow hunting, depends on the setup. You may certainly don't set right up on top of the trail. You can sit at either side of the trail and still be able to get a shot at that old boy. But I don't know so much that they follow it just off of it, but hey, they do follow the trails till pressure makes them do other. Sort of like the gentleman up in Ohio that called earlier and said he's got all that activity out there. Well, all that activity, pressure can push them bucks to you. And but once they get in there and they get out of that pressure, they're going to calm down because they want to get back in a routine, because in routine means security. They feel safe in that. So guys, okay, well look here, I think we've got, we're fixing to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll go at this thing again. Be right back, folks. Stay tuned.
From Don Bell, the founder of Code Blue, comes Top Secret Reserve Doe Estrus, the finest doe estrus ever collected. Top Secret oxygen-free collection process is a complete generation above Code Blue. Our patent-pending collection process means no ammonia and no ammonia smell. At a limited quantity of 12,000 bottles, only 1/10% of hunters will be lucky enough to add Top Secret to their arsenal. Visit TopSecretDeerScent.com today and join the 1/10% club.
Alrighty guys, it is amazing how fast an hour will go when you're talking about something that you enjoy. Guys, listen to us. We appreciate you calling in for any reason, and we know that sometimes we may get a little behind on those Facebooks, but we're trying to catch up with them. We want you to call in. Guys, an hour goes by as fast. We want you this week, breaking all over the Midwest. The peak of the rut's beginning to kick off. Got a lot of activity. You guys get out there, hunt safe, hunt during the peak of the rut. We're going to bring you up down here in pre-rut and in the south, and we're going to catch up with you a little later on in the season. See you next week, 7 o'clock, right here, Hunting the Rut Hotline with Don Bell. Folks, you got questions, we got answers, and we'll see you next Thursday night at 7 o'clock, and we're going to talk again. See you next week.